Hey everyone, Emmanuel here. This next series of videos you're going to see is dedicated entirely to stretching. Now, stretching, I have an interesting history with stretching. I never really got into stretching through martial arts, which is how some people do. Like a lot of people watch Bruce Lee or Van Damme or something and love the high kicks and the splits and stretching stuff. That wasn't my thing in martial arts whatsoever. I never had that. I stretched, but I wasn't particularly fond of it, but I stretched. Wasn't particularly flexible. I had flexibility, but I wasn't overly flexible. I just did it as part of the routine of martial arts per se. But then, so that was around 15 years old. Then somewhere around my early 20s, I had injured myself and I wasn't able to walk for about 6 months to a year in the rehab process of my injury. And then when I was finished the surgery and I was starting to be able to rehab, which was about 6 months after, I had no flexibility. My legs were stiff, they were weak, they were not flexible whatsoever. So I had to gain my flexibility back and my strength, and that was the main focus. So I actually started stretching to kind of get the range of motion in the different parts of my leg. And in that process of doing it every day, I really kind of fell in love with stretching. I really enjoy it. It relaxes me quite a bit, and it had many positive benefits for me. And now, being a kinesiology major, I understand that, you know, for those health professionals, the verdict is out on how much flexibility helps your training. And I understand that. I'm not here to debate that, and I don't want to make it a debate about that. I just want to share with you some of my experiences with stretching, the benefits that have come to me, as well as maybe some ideas of how you can approach stretching. And I'll share with you like my personal stuff, and then also things I've heard of and things I've seen. And then you can pick and choose what role you want stretching to play in your training. But try not to neglect it. It is, you know, how much time you dictate is up to you. And how you feel and how it makes you feel will also dictate what it means to you. But I'll give you this much. For those people training in Systema, you always hear the main kind of words that you hear in class is relax and breathe and get rid of tension. But you can do all of that while stretching. So stretching to me is an entire expression of Systema. So as I show you the different stretches for the upper body, the lower body, the spine, the different parts and different things, and the different ways of stretching and the different perspectives of stretching in the series of videos to come, I want you to also take a look and say, this is Systema training in one way, shape, or form. From perspective, it is. So if I try to touch my toes, part of my muscle will become tight because I'm stretching. But it's actually not a stretch yet. So if I'm trying to touch my toes and my muscles tighten up because they're stretching, that's not a stretch, that's a tense. The focus now is, let's say I get to my toes and my hamstrings are tight, the back of my legs are tight. Now what I want you to do when you're stretching is actually try to remove the tension and relax into the stretch. Okay? And when you relax into the stretch, you're now training in Systema. So I don't want you to study how to tense yourself, which is how some people see stretching. I want you to study how to relax yourself into these moves, okay? And by doing so, you will make a better connection with the martial art, because if you're looking for tension now and finding it and relaxing it, you'll be able to find it when you're training in the martial art, when you're wrestling, when you're punching, when you're kicking, because you're tuning yourself to be aware of tension and how to remove it from different parts of your body, because some parts of the body are easier than others. And these principles are also evident in other arts, such as yoga and different other practices. I mean, there's too many to count, but yoga is the one that comes to mind. You get into a position and you relax into that position, and you allow the body to calm into it, and you actually feel the muscles as they relax start to grow longer. So this is super interesting to me because it is training in Systema so it's like a personal training of Systema. It's like a way to calibrate your body to remove tension and relax into these positions. And by relaxing, your body also calms down. It's a way of calming yourself. So for me, when I stretch, and it can be anywhere between a half hour, 20 minutes, half hour. I don't have a set time. I just start stretching, and it feels so good that I just keep doing it. I don't hate it where I have to put a time on it. I actually enjoy it, and I try to do many different types of stretching. I don't keep a steady routine, because what's going to happen is you start doing the same old things over and over, and you want to make sure that there's many different expressions of flexibility. There's functional flexibility. There's flexibility like static ones that you see the traditional, stand up, touch your toes, static positions. Those are not nearly as beneficial as functional flexibility. So stretching through a range of motion, reaching, hanging, like all these positions that I guess are a little bit more real life application, okay? So this type of flexibility is a little bit more sought after, but it's not to say that there's no value in static, right? It's not to say that there's no value in it. But it's limited in its value. So I'll show you both. I'll show you the static stretches, I'll show you the functional stretches that I do, and I'll show you how I relax through it. And hopefully in this series, you'll find a different place for it in your training and a way to continue your training in Systema from a different perspective. So I hope that helps. I hope you enjoy these videos. There's a lot to be said, and I'll try to break the videos down into different parts so that it's easily understandable. But it's safe to say that stretching is a long process. Like I would approach it as 6 to 12 weeks. I would try to do it every day or every other day. I try to do it in a way or an amount of time that you like. If it's going to just be 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. Be realistic with it. Don't set huge goals that are unattainable. Start with 10 minutes of stretching every day, every other day. Start with some basic stuff, and that will be more than enough to get you started down an amazing road that I think will have a lot to teach you about Systema, about yourself, about fitness and health from many different perspectives. I hope you enjoy the series of videos. Take care.